So in terms of PhD students' wellbeing, I think one of the biggest challenges is them taking time away from the PhD. So it is a huge part of 3, sometimes 4, sometimes depending on if you're part-time, 6 years of your life. But it can't be everything, and it needs to be kept in balance. That I think a lot of the time in a PhD, you are so involved in it, so connected to it, that it's really challenging to try and separate yourself away from it. But having breaks, most students now have, the challenge of earning some money on the side, or having a family, or all of those competing interests, and I think getting those into proportion is really important. From my own experience, I know that that's difficult. I was juggling all of those things alongside my PhD, so yeah, it took a whole year longer. I think not beating yourself up if you don't meet the deadlines you set as well. Always having a plan B in place is really important, because plan A very rarely works out the way you expect it to. Just being flexible, I think, helps your well-being, and thinking, okay, so I've set these deadlines, but actually there is some flexibility there as well. Yeah, I think those are the things that help.
One advice which I would give PhD students to improve their well-being during their PhD is to focus on the time management. I think that good time management is absolutely crucial in order to feel comfortable in the course of the whole PhD. I would advise students to start the PhD with a relatively small project, and a project which can constitute a chapter of their PhD. So this small project should be designed in a way that it can be completed relatively quickly. It can then also result in a paper, and if that happens, that it can be completed and is completed within the first half of a year or so of a PhD, then the PhD student has already accomplished something. So when there then later in the course of the PhD problems arising, it is always comfortable, or it gives comfort to know, okay, I already have that. This is something which strengthens, it will strengthen you along the rest of your studies. A second aspect, I think, is that it is really important to focus also on your work-life balance. It is not only a PhD. A PhD often can take up large chunks of your life, but I think it's important to introduce borders. These borders might be that, okay, I'm not writing on my PhD at home. I only do it at the university. Or this might be also that you try to have enough time with friends and family. I think another aspect is, in terms of work-life balance, that you give yourself time for doing something different. Engage in arts, or engage in sports, team sports or individual sports.